Recording. Good morning. Today we are making our video for packet number 8. Our first page says Sally's aunt is knitting her a striped scarf. Her aunt will use equally sized sections of red, blue, and yellow yarn in that order. So it's going to be a repeating pattern. Red, blue, yellow, red, blue, yellow. Sally wants her scarf to be 140 centimeters long when she's finished, and she wants to end with a red stripe. Each stripe measures 5 centimeters. How many blue stripes will be in the finished scarf? Well, our first step is to find out how many stripes are in the scarf. So if we know it's going to be 140 centimeters long, and each stripe is 5 centimeters, what do we do to that 140 centimeters, Bridget?
Divide by 5.
We're going to divide that by 5. That is not our answer. That tells us how many stripes there are. Then we need to figure out how many of those stripes are blue. We know our pattern is red, blue, yellow, and it's repeating red, blue, yellow. Figure out how many stripes you have. Write out your pattern that many times. This is 1 stripe, 2 stripes, 3 stripes, 4 stripes, 5 stripes, 6 stripes. If there's going to be 35 stripes, you need to write out 35 letters in your pattern, right? Then count up how many of them are blue. You should end with your final stripe being a red stripe. Next page. This number has 4 digits. So there are 4 digits in this number. Every digit is an odd number. Odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. But none of the digits is 9. Every digit in the number is different, so you use each one of these one time. The smallest digit is in the thousands place. Which place is my thousands place? Adeline?
The last one on the right, or left.
This one way over on the left is the thousands place. The greatest digit is in the ones place. So you need to look, what's our smallest digit here? That one goes into the thousands place. What is the greatest digit? That one goes into that ones place. Then we're left with 2 numbers. So you need to decide which is the bigger way of writing it. So if our 2 numbers are the 1 and 3, would 1, 3 be bigger, or would 3, 1 be a bigger number? So you're going to have to figure that out, which order the last 2 numbers go in the middle. It should read the bigger number. We want to get that biggest number we can, putting them in the specific order. Our next page is our 5-card challenge. We're getting good at doing that. You do have 2 4s, so your equations can have 2 4s in them. Next one is the pattern page. This pattern page has my favorite kind of numbers. Who remembers what my favorite kind of numbers are, James? Perfect what? Perfect, Adeline? Perfect squares. I love perfect squares because they're just fun numbers, and we see them in our patterns all the time. So we need to complete for the blue blocks. So I'm going to look at the blue. In my first figure, how many blue blocks are there, Adeline?
I'm sure orchestra.
Okay. How many blue blocks are in that first figure? Sophie? 0. There are no blue in the figure 1. How many blue blocks are in figure 2? Sophie? How many in figure 3? Kylie,
16.
how many in figure 4? Liam? I see perfect squares in that pattern. 0 is 0 squared. What number do we square to get 4? Bennett?
2 squared.
2 squared. What number do we square to get 16? James?
3 squared.
Nope. 3 squared is 3 times 3 is 9.
4 squared.
4 squared. 4 times 4 is 16. What number do we square to get 36, Emma? 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Can we figure out from this pattern what it comes next in our pattern? We have 0 squared, 2 squared, 4 squared, 6 squared. What kind of numbers are we squaring? Bridget? It's those even numbers. So we're counting by even numbers and then we're squaring it. So what would come next? Sarah? Because what number did you square to get that? Yeah, if we do 8 squared, we get 64 is our answer. Keep following that pattern down to finish up that column. Next page. All right, we need to find the area of the figure. That is our full figure. So this is the full figure. Remember, area equals length times width. Length times width. That's what goes here. How I found it, tell me what you multiplied together to get that full figure. Area of the shaded region, oh my goodness, that shaded region is a goofy shape. In order to find that, what do I have to take away from my full figure? Sarah? Yeah, I need to take all this white area out of it. I need to subtract that out. So I need to figure out what my length times width is, using the numbers that they've given me. Find what this area is, and to find that shaded region, you do the full area minus the white area, and you are left with the shaded area. So you find your full figure, and you put that here. Then you find your white area and you subtract it from the full area, and you're left with that shaded area. Next page is a new page for us, but we will see more of these kind of pages. Now, Mr. Schultz put on the pre-algebra packet some numbers. Those of us that have already done it and used different numbers, I give you credit if you did it correctly. But I'm going to help us out a little bit with some numbers. First thing we need to know is the formula to find the volume of these shapes. So you're going to want to write these formulas in. You're going to need to do 2 of these volumes. You can choose which 2 you want to do. I'm telling you right now, I think these first ones are the easiest ones. These ones down below, we have to work with pi, and it gets more complicated. But you can choose if you want to challenge yourself, challenge yourself. If you want to do them all, do them all. You only need to get 2 of them correct to pass this page. To find a rectangular prism volume, you do length times width times height. And Mr. Schultz is saying, let's try using the length of 8 and a width of 2. Find the height. So if we write out this formula, it would go 8 times 2 times the height equals the volume of 144. I just need to solve for the height. How do I solve for that height? How do I get the h by itself? It's something we've already done. James?
You
opposite operations to get that height by itself. So if we are multiplying, what's the opposite operation, Jigs? Dividing. So we would divide both sides by 8, divide both sides by 2, and then we're left with h equals that. So use those opposite operations. For our cube, a cube is a rectangle, so we could do length times width times height, or we could call it side cubes, because each one of these has to be the same number. It's got squares for its sides. Each side length has to be the same. So you need to decide that side times side times side, it needs to equal 729. Some of us said, oh, well, there's 3 of them. I can do 729 divided by 3. It's not how it works. I always like to guess and check with numbers. First one I do is 2. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. That is way smaller than 729. So then I go up to 10. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. That's bigger than 729. So I know my number is going to be bigger than 2, less than 10. Guess and check, cubing those numbers to see if you can find one that equals 729. It should be the same number on each line. If you want the volume for the triangular prism, it's 1/2 times base, or length. Use his words here, 1/2 times length times width times height. And he gave us a length of 8 and a height of 4. For the pyramid, it's length times width times height divided by 3. And he gave us a length of 2 and a height of 96. Is there anybody who wants me to do that bottom row today? I'm starting to run out of time. If you want one of the cylinder, the cone, or the sphere, come see me, and I can give you those equations, okay? I want to make it to the last page before class is over. Our last page has our salespeople that we need to put into teams. You need to create 3 teams. One team that equals 28%. You need to tell me who's on that team. One team that equals 46%. Who's on that team? And a team that equals 26%. Who is on that team? So Dodsworth is at the top. He is that biggest section. He is 27%. Next is Tsuyama, who's 24%. Then we have Fuller is 20%. Peacock is 19%. Leverling is 4%. Callahan and Buchanan are both 3%. You can have 2 or 3 people on the team. You cannot have more than 3, and it cannot just be one person. People can only be on one team. You can't double them up on 2 different teams. So you need to figure out what combination of people with their percentages would equal 28%, 46%, and 26%, using everybody without doubling up at all. All right. If you are watching this at home and you still have questions, please make sure you come and ask me. Turn it in before March 4th. Turn it in by next week Friday, and you'll get to fix up your mistakes. I hope you are well and hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.